Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can hear me. We're going to talk about a very special lion, a lion that is really more set apart than other lions. Now, when I learned about the Barbary lion, ladies and gentlemen, I was over in Europe when I learned about this lion. And I used to believe, just like many people, oh, these lions are all the same. And they all look similar. They're all the same. Actually, there are differences. It's just like in us, in people. You got some people and some groups that are more dominant than others. I'm not talking about people that have appointed themselves as dominant. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about real dominance, gifts given to certain groups by the Most High. That's what I'm talking about. And we know there are differences among us because we can see the distinctive differences. Well, it's the same thing in lions. There are species more dominant than other species. Now, what is special about the Barbary lion? Well, one of the things that are special, whenever you see these depictions of statues of lions, that's not an ordinary lion that you're looking at. That's a Barbary lion. The lions that you see over on these old European buildings, and the lions all have crowns on their heads, those are Barbary lions, y'all. That's what they base those statues on. Barbary lions, or you'll see statues of what is a Bible and the lion. Those are Barbary lions. And I'm going to show you a picture of a Barbary lion. And just looking at it, you're going to see there are very distinctive differences. This lion is so different, it has a different DNA from other lions, too. So here it is. This is a Barbary lion. Are there still, you don't hear any sound? Can everybody hear me? If you can't hear me, you MC, you may have to go out and come back in. Log out. Well, if you don't have no sound, you probably can't hear me say that. Um, log out. I'll just type it and log back in if you can't hear me. All right. All right, because I can hear, usually when I do my live streams, I'll have other devices around me to make sure there is sound, and I hear sound. All right. Now, y'all, what you see on the screen are Barbary lions. The only Barbary lions that are around now are in captivity. There are none in the wild. The reason why there are none in the wild is because the ones in the wild were hunted into extinction. And unfortunately, that's how Gentiles are. When they find out something is great in the land, they will go out there and kill them to extinction. And that's why you won't see none out there in the wild, but there are some in captivity still left in the world. And it's a shame. That's another reason why I can't wait for the return of our Heavenly Father, because our animals that we have lost to Gentiles will be coming back too. And that's a beautiful thing as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to show you a little more about, well, I'm going to tell you more about these lions. These lions were heavily sought after by a lot of groups when they went into war. The Romans even used this lion when they went into war. And why was this a sought after lion? Because it was larger than other lions and stronger than other lions. And if you put a Barbary lion and an African lion, they're all from Africa, by the way. They're all from Africa. Let me just put that out there. The Barbary lion would be way more massive than your average African lion that you would see anywhere else. All right. So they are bigger, stronger, more powerful, and more ferocious than the average lion. Now, the average African lion male will weigh anywhere from 300 to 500 pounds. The average male Barbary lion weighs 600 to 660 pounds. So they got more muscle mass on them and they are stronger. So whenever you see lion depictions back in Roman times, these were Barbary lions they were using. The Colosseum, when you see all these films on the Colosseum and they had the lions come out there killing and maiming and eating the people, those were Barbary lions they were using. They were not any ordinary lions, y'all. They were Barbary. So at time of war, these animals were heavily sought after and they would get them. Now, most of them were also called back in those times Atlas lions. All right. Barbary lion was also called an Atlas lion. And what was distinctive on them? Their dark mane that extended from their chest to their front legs and abdomen. These lions were considered, think about this. Think about this, y'all. If everything, I think the Most High made everything this way, even with birds. Look, if you look at a pigeon and I brought a hawk in, of course, that hawk is a more dominant bird, right? And I think he did that with every species on this planet. I think there are insects, some that are more dominant than others. I think that even with things like, even fish and sharks and stuff, I think there are some species that are just made to be more dominant than others. And that was your Barbary lion. So I just showed you this one, and I'm going to show you. Do I have that up here? Yeah. I'm going to show you a side by side of the Barbary lion with your African lion. All right, so let me stop showing that and let me see if I can get that up on the screen. Okay. All right. So now that you see these two lions on the screen, what is the first thing you notice? Let me see if I can make it full screen. I'll get myself off. What do you notice? What's the first thing you notice? What's the first thing you notice about these lions just looking at them? You got the Barbary lions, the two males, and you have your African lion. It's darker. What else do you notice? The head size, right. The head on that Barbary lion is way bigger. Even the shape of it is different. The eyes are different. You look at the eyes. Look at the brow of the eyes. You see how different the brow, even the brow of the eyes are in comparison to the African lion. Now, your average African lion is, like I said, is 300 to 500 pounds. Your Barbary, 600 to 660. Fuller hair, fuller face, more body mass. Yes. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. These lions, it don't matter if it's one more dominant or one that's not. They can all kill you. Okay. Don't get that part twisted. All right. The Barbary does have a different DNA. But again, it goes back to what I'm saying. I believe the Most High made some species just more dominant than others in that same species. And yeah, their eyes are closer together. Absolutely. See, y'all see the differences. Okay. So your African lion is still the king of the jungle, although he's a smaller lion. And unfortunately, the male lions are doing a lot better, a hell of a lot better than the Barbary, unfortunately. The Barbary is also a northern African lion, and they were found in the Atlas Mountains. And that's another reason why they're called the Atlas lion. And, lions are a necessary creature. I know a lot of people can't watch all the killing and everything they do, but if you didn't have your lions around, you would have a very imbalanced ecosystem, especially in Africa. And what they do is they don't make one thing about lions do not make anything go extinct. Lions just eat what's necessary. And whenever they're not hungry, they don't go out there chasing down nothing. So they keep a good balance. between the herds in Africa. So they are necessary. You may may not be able to stomach how they kill and everything, but they are necessary to have. You never heard of a lion making a group of zebras or anything go extinct because they have never done that. The extinction is due to humans that won't leave them alone. And unfortunately, that's what happened to the Barbary. They were hunted for sport, where we should see many of them on this planet and we don't. The last time I saw a Barbary, I was living in Europe and we went to the zoo over there and they had some Barbary lions over there. In America, I've seen now at the Philadelphia Zoo where I used to go, they had the African lions. They did not have the Barbary. They had, the African lion like you see in this picture. Oh, yeah, I think the Barbary is beautiful. I think it is a beautiful animal. I can imagine what it must have looked like when more of them were on this earth at one point in time. But sometimes I think the Most High just allows the extinction that way. They can't do no more harm. But do I think they're coming back? Yes. I think when we go back on top, these kind of animals in the animal kingdom will be coming back and we will see them again. Hmm. Now, who was the biggest killer of the Barbary? The French. A lot of the Europeans. They were your biggest ones that have taken them out of, that put them in extinction. But the French were the biggest ones over there hunting them, unfortunately. I just wish that Africa would never have allowed them to come there and hunt to the point where you can't even see them no more. Mhm. Yeah. And if you notice, they even got, the Barbary even got a bigger eye. The lions got a bigger eye than you do see on those African lions. Mhm. So, this is just trivia, y'all. It's just trivia. I know we do so many serious topics that this time around I just decided to do something, that you might not know, but these are just fun things to even pass on to your children, you know? If they have to do a project on animals, you can have them do the Barbary lion. I'm sure many of their classmates have never even heard of this lion. I never heard of it until I was over in Europe. And what sparked it was we were in Venice and they got these statues of lions everywhere and one of them said Atlas. And I said Atlas and it had the lion had a crown on and the crown said Atlas. And I said, "Well, what is that?" And then further research brought me right here to this Barbary lion. And I later found out that's what all of those depictions in history, when you see statues of lions, they are talking about the Barbary. This lion was that special. They made statues out of it. Mhm. There is a lion they did a story on, y'all. I don't know if you ever heard of this lion. This lion stayed king of his pride for like 12 years. And they said that is unheard of for a lion to be dominant for that long. But this lion did. I forgot what they called him. And he killed over 400 hyenas and fought off other challengers. And he was able to keep them at bay for 12 years. And the only reason why he couldn't no more because after 12 years, he got old and he was not as strong. So, they were able to overtake him. But this lion stayed in charge for so long, they wrote about him. I think there's video footage of him, but I can no longer remember what they called him. He had a name, and I can't remember what they called him. Scarface? Okay. Yeah, I know one of his eyes were jacked up, but that lion didn't miss a beat. He didn't miss a beat. He held it down. You gotta be one special lion out in the wild to be able to hold a pride down for that long. I mean, most of them don't make it beyond about 8 years. They don't make usually another male challenger will come in there and that's it. That's why I said it was incredible he was able to do it that long. Yeah, they said he took out 400 hyenas. For real. And one of his eyes were messed up from a fight he was in. But even after his eye was jacked up, he was still holding it down. I mean, that's a tough life these animals have to live out in the wild. I mean, that is a tough, tough life. Most of them live about 10 years out in the wild, and in captivity, these lions can live about 20, 30 years, because they're not facing any of the challenges out in the wild. Unfortunately, and then I've read sometimes they can live anywhere from 10 to 13 years out in the wild. But when once they're in captivity, their life can almost double in age because I mean they're being hand fed and their food is being brought to them and they don't have to chase down their food. And so yeah, I guess if you don't have to do all of that, you do live longer. Mhm. Yeah, they are beautiful animals. I do love lions. I like tigers too. I like the cats. I think they are special. There's a reason why the Most High favored these animals. And when I see them, they are majestic. They really, truly are. I remember the first time I was at a zoo, the zookeeper had the lion stand up on his 2 feet back then. And he was, I think, 7.5 feet on his two hind legs. That how massive of an animal you gotta be to be able to stand up on 2 feet and be 7.5 feet tall. That is like crazy. That is absolutely crazy, but they are that tall for real. Now, the last time over in Europe, I saw these animals. I think they were, I'm just trying to think. One of the zoos that are over there, I think, is in Ireland. Ireland got some. They're just scattered all over the world, y'all. And like I said, they were the lions used in the Colosseum. Thousands of cats were slaughtered. They even had the cats kill other cats, lions, and they would bring these lions in. A lot of them came out of Morocco and they would bring them over. The Romans would bring them over to Europe and throw them in the Colosseum. I mean, it's a shame, it just goes to show you not only humans were forced to do things that we did not like to do, they even forced these animals to do things they didn't like to do. And if you know the history of the Colosseum, y'all, they starved those animals. They would starve them. So By the time they would get out there in the arena, they were hungry. So, of course, they would attack the humans. They were hungry, you know? And it's almost like nothing was spared on this earth once these Gentiles took control. Nothing was spared. Mhm. Yeah, it was cruelty when you see how they what they did to these animals to make them attack and kill in those arenas. It was cruel. It was terrible. Yeah, I hope the Most High create these Barbary lions and we we can just turn them loose on them since they love hunting. They won't love being the. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I hope you can hear me. I don't like zoos. I don't like zoos because I don't believe anything should be in captivity, y'all. I don't believe lions or any creature should be in captivity. I don't think the Most High intended for animals to be in captivity. He wanted animals to be free. And I think it's wrong to deny an animal a life of freedom. I think it's wrong to deny us freedom. That's just not how it should be done. So, yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, my class went to zoos and we took the class trips there. But do I believe they should be there? No. I think we should not be exploiting animals for entertainment because that's what you're doing with zoos. You're doing that to pleasure the people. And no, I don't think that's right. Mhm. Oh yeah, I mean, I took my son to the zoo, but his class took trips to the zoo. But at the end of the day, no, I don't like seeing it. I don't like seeing anything caged up. I guess because of what our people has gone through, I don't like seeing anything caged up at all. So, let me just go here. I want to get some more about the Barbary. Now, just like the males, the females are also the Barbary females are bigger than your average African lion as well. And thank you. Quantum solace, solace. Hold on. People don't realize that in our lands, the Americas, we once had lions. Yes, we did. We had camels here too. Yeah, these Gentiles moved everything around, and it really wasn't their right to do that. But that's what they did. They moved all of these animals around. They moved people around. So it was human trafficking, animal trafficking, they did it all. They didn't leave no stone unturned. Mhm. Do you know squirrels also eat mice? Squirrels eat mice. Mhm. I mean, they're another interesting creature, but yeah, I mean, look y'all, it'll be nice to see our animals make a comeback. That's all I got to say. It'll be nice to see it. Safaris, no. Here in New Jersey, Six Flags, they lost so many animals from those safaris. It's not even funny, and many of them never got captured again. That's why it's not unusual for summer to come and people will say they saw a monkey up in a tree, and they probably did. Six Flags have lost so many animals. They have caught some of them, but a lot of them, they never, once they got loose, they never caught them again. So when people say they have sightings of certain things, they really did. They really did. That more than likely it's one of those animals that escaped from Six Flags. Our Six Flags is in Jackson, New Jersey, and they have not been able to keep those animals in there since they started that safari. We would hear about ostriches getting out of there, or a hole would be in the fence, and some of the monkeys would always get away. They never could contain those monkeys at all. Yeah, squirrels eat mice. Mhm. In fact, you could probably pull up some footage of it on YouTube. They film everything on this thing apparently, but yeah, they do eat mice. You know, I used to believe that too for a long time. There was berries and nuts and stuff, but no, they eat beyond that. Mhm. So, unfortunately, the male Barbary was probably the most sought after lion out there, and because he was such a majestic animal, that's why we don't see him out in the wild anymore. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, they would even have fights between a Siberian tiger and a Barbary lion, and they would make them fight and battle each other to see which one would win. They did that as well. Mhm. Well, my prayers, thank you, Teacher, too. My prayers are for my people. You know, they're all over the TV now and on videos telling everybody to pray for the fire victims in Los Angeles. And by the way, the fire is now in Brentwood and see, I never heard of Brentwood. The fire is in Brentwood now and they're evacuating from over there. I never even heard of Brentwood until the OJ trial. The OJ trial is what, you know, is how I learned about Brentwood, California. Mhm. So those folks are being evacuated, and I think Encino, California, is another location that's being evacuated. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom was saying he's very concerned because the winds are going back to over 70 miles an hour, and I think they already have. And so he's afraid that the fire will spread even further because they still don't have that contained at all. And some areas where they put the fire out may get set on fire again because of the winds. So, yes, I do pray for my brothers and sisters out there. Absolutely. You know, unfortunately, when it comes down to judgment, there is always going to be a few of our people getting caught up in it because so many of us are around these Gentiles. Hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, my prayers go out to our people. And I just hope everybody is safe. If they gotta evacuate, I hope they have somewhere to go. I really do. So everybody, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I just wanted to go over this little trivia with you, and I wasn't sure if many of you even knew about how special these lions were and still are. Hmm. Yeah. All right. So I did get the one super chat. Thank you, Quantum Solace. Thank you again for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I heard Kamala's house burnt down. Kamala was supposed to go somewhere overseas, and her trip was canceled because of the fire. But I don't think that's their only home. I think she and her husband got other homes. Um, I don't believe that's the only home Kamala and her family had. But yes, she lived in the Palisades. She and her husband Doug had a home in the Palisades, and I believe that home did burn down. Mhm. Yeah. Well, yeah, I did, Michelle Harvey. I did see that black family that was trying to get things moved out of their houses because of the fire, and other people were helping them move things out of the house because I think that was a mother with 3 young children, and they were just helping her out. And there were some Latinos that made the claim that they were looting, and how do you loot your own house? Come on, man. And they got a lot of nerve talking about looting, and their asses hop the fence. As soon as they get on American ground, they start committing crimes. They are the last ones that should have their mouth open, for real. And thank you, Miss Skilled Gamer, for posting the links to my business in the chat. And there is one more announcement. I got a new pomade that I have put together, and I'm gonna try to put a few out just to see whether some of you like it or not. It should be out, I would say, later in the week. It is a pomade for the hair and beard. And yes, it is for hair growth. It looks different from the other pomade that I have. So, those of you that may not want the beard oil, you may want the beard pomade. And it's unisex. Women can use it too for hair growth. So it's got a different look to it. It smells a little different, but I think you will like it. So, just be on the lookout. I'll be posting more information about that in the later part of the week. So, everybody, thank you so much for being here, and we'll definitely come back together. I got another one coming up at 3 o'clock. A lot of these white pastors are telling their parishioners that what's going on in California is not judgment. It's not judgment at all. So, we're going to talk about that. So, they are denying any judgment is on them. They're denying it. So we'll be talking about that a little later on today. So that live stream will be at 3 o'clock. So I hope you can all be there. Shalom, family.